Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how you can stop your menopause symptoms from ruining your relationship. Now, you don't choose to get menopause symptoms, you don't choose the menopause, but unfortunately the fallout from the symptoms can have a really bad impact on your closest relationship, namely that of you and your partner. So there are over 34 recognised menopause symptoms that can affect women. Not all women are going to get all of them, hopefully not, but some women do get rather more than others, and sometimes they can actually be quite intense. So not only is it disrupting you, but the fallout from that, as I say, can have a really bad effect on your relationship with your partner. Some of the symptoms are probably more common than others in the effect that they can have on your relationship. So mood swings is the first one that springs to mind. Being up and down all the time, going from being really quite positive to being really angry and short-tempered, can come across as if you've had a personality change. So it can be difficult for your partner to understand what's going on, and they might just feel like you're having a go at them, or they've done something wrong and they can't figure out why. So mood swings can have a big impact on your relationship. Fatigue and sleep problems both can sort of rub you up the wrong way, and also rub your partner up the wrong way. If you're constantly feeling fatigued, then you haven't got any energy, any enthusiasm, any get up and go. And again, your partner may feel that it's a judgment on them. You can't be bothered with them. Now, as I say, it's probably not the case, and hopefully it's not the case, but it can come across that way, even though you don't mean it to. And again, with the sleep problems, that obviously adds to your fatigue, but also sleep problems can cause a problem at night time when you're both trying to sleep. If you're up and down to the toilet all the night, or you're hot and you're cold and the quilt's on and the quilt's off and you're fidgeting and you can't sleep at all, so you're sitting there reading a book, that obviously disturbs your partner's sleep, so then they get grouchy and it ends up in a bit of a vicious cycle. Memory loss as well, and loss of confidence, they can have an impact on your relationship, because if you forget to do something you said you were going to do, or forget to meet them at a certain time, or you just forget things in general that normally would have just been second nature to you, that can cause arguments. And if you have lost your confidence, because loss of confidence is one of those odd things that does happen to women during perimenopause onwards, really. So if you've lost your confidence, you can also lose your sense of self-image, or not be happy with your self-image, so you probably don't want to go out and you don't want to do this, or you think you can't do this and you think you can't do that. They're all genuine feelings, but it will have a knock-on effect, you know, with your partner. Low mood in general, again, if you come across as just being miserable all the time and grumpy all the time, that may well cause arguments too. And I think loss of sex drive is probably the biggie when it comes to having problems within your relationship with your partner, because you can't help your loss of sex drive, or libido as I believe it's officially called, if you haven't actually got the urge, for sex, to get up close and personal, have a little fun in the bedroom, then your partner is likely to feel not just neglected, even insulted, maybe unloved. It really can cause big problems in the relationship if your sex drive drops down really low or goes completely to zero, because part obviously of a close relationship generally includes a certain amount of close physical sexual contact, and as I say, it usually is the one that causes the biggest amount of arguments. So what can you do about it? You haven't chosen these symptoms, you're battling with them yourself. They're spoiling your relationship and making things really difficult for you both. So what can you do to help yourself and to help your partner too? and your relationship in general? Well, the first thing, and I think it's the most important thing, is to talk to each other. It's a communication thing. Arguments and shouting at each other or not talking to each other just create bigger barriers. So if you communicate with each other, if you can talk, and I know that can be really hard. I mean, particularly if you're feeling so low, you just want to hide away in the corner. Having a proper grown-up discussion with your partner about what is going on can be really difficult, but it makes the world a difference. If your partner can understand what you're going through and that you are trying to cope with it and deal with it, it's not a personal insult to them. You haven't suddenly stopped loving them, you haven't suddenly stopped finding them attractive or anything like that. It can make a big difference. And also, part of the communicating with each other, I think it's important to educate yourselves, both of you, about the menopause, about the symptoms, about why it's happening, and more importantly about what you can do to actually ease the symptoms off. But even the fact of understanding and having that extra help and support, because they don't just think that you're being horrible, nasty, had a personality change and don't love them anymore, that having that understanding makes the world a difference. So both of you really together need to be understanding what's actually going on in the first place, and also how to ease it off and how to get through it together as a couple, as a team. I have written an article about how menopause symptoms can spoil your relationship, and obviously I've gone into quite a bit more detail, and there's also some links in the article to other articles I've written that have more information and tips about easing off the menopause symptoms, and the link to the article about menopause and relationships with the other links within it is actually in the description of this video. So it's definitely worth having a look at the article, playing around with the links in the article, seeing what applies to you, because different symptoms affect different women. I may well have not mentioned a symptom that is causing you a problem, because as I say, there's around 34 symptoms. So play around with the links, see what applies to you and your partner, work through it together, talk to each other, and you know, even if you're having a bad time of it, if you can at least show each other some affection and understanding, it just makes the world of difference. So I hope this is helping. Have a read of the article, like I say. Thank you for watching. There is a notification bell under the video if you'd like to know when I'm putting more videos on. There's also a subscribe button there too. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again soon.